when people tell you to settle, you have to know whether you're going to be a monster settling or whether you're going to be able to thrive and settle. Because if he can't make you happier, then you're alone. He can't be the emperor to your empress. And I mean that in the most grounded, non-delusional way. What's going on, you all? We are going to set the mood and the energies, make sure everything is purified and the air is clear. And then we're going to jump right into this discussion. Hey, what's going on? I'm LuminousRah, and today we're going to talk about something that most women are confused, frustrated, and low-key obsessed with. How do I get a man to actually show up in his masculine while I stay in my feminine? I was asked to do this video because many of you are tired of being the man and the woman in your relationship. You're tired of leading, planning, protecting, providing, doing emotional CPR on a man who claims they want you but don't show up for you. And I also don't want you to be gaslit by the internet into thinking you have no power in this dynamic. Femininity is very strong and very intoxicating. You absolutely can influence a man to show up in his masculine. Let me say this early before the algorithm drags the wrong message in here. You can control a man from this energy. But if control is your aim, that's not feminine energy. That's manipulation. It might look powerful on the surface, but energetically, it's going to align you with low vibrational men. You won't unlock that energy where he adores you, protects you, and honors you. You'll tap into that obsessive, addictive energy where he treats you like a drug. And we all seen what drugs do to people. That's not a flattering image. It'll dry you up and drain you out, completely using you up like an energetic vampire, and then blame you for his addiction. So I'm sorry, girlies, this video is not about getting him to be obsessed with you. This is about how to embody your feminine energy in a way that helps a healthy masculine to rise. And most importantly, how to recognize when he can't, because there's a difference between trying to control a man and simply thriving in your energy and being wise enough to discern who deserves access to it. Being feminine isn't about performing softness for a man. It's about being in love with you, staying in tune with you, staying grounded with you, and making sure you stay in tune with your intuition and your divine guidance. It's literally an art form. And before we get into the steps, I want you to be really honest with yourself. Are you here because you hate men and you want to get back at them? Or are you here because you actually want peace, love, and better experiences with them? There's no judgment either way. I understand the hate. I've been there. But I also know that carrying hate in your heart will only weigh you down. It'll fill in how you show up in your heart, your body, your mind, your soul, and in your aura. So as I walk through the 5 ways you can get a man in his masculine, even if you're still healing, you can still practice. You can practice while you're healing, and you can practice while you're still evolving. And if you want to go deeper in this, I created an ebook where I break this down step by step so you can master this as a lifestyle and not a costume. I'll talk about it more at the end. Let's go ahead and dive in. The first way to invite his masculine is need him, but don't be needy. I know that sounds triggering already because we've been fed 2 very different extremes. You don't need a man for anything, or you better latch on to any man that's giving you attention and halfway better than the rest. Sorry to bust your bubbles, babes, but neither one of those are feminine. When I say need him, I'm talking about making space in your life where the masculine energy can actually bloom. If you walk around with, I don't need a man for nothing, I can do it all by myself, don't be surprised when the men in your life don't do anything. You already pushed his position out energetically before he even showed up. On the other side, when you're needy, it's like your whole nervous system is wrapped all around him. You can't stop thinking about him, overanalyzing him, stalking his energy instead of pouring all of that energy into yourself. Most of the time, that level of neediness is not about him at all. It's about a broken relationship with men. A father who wasn't there, watching your mother suffer or accept crumbs, or mommy issues. A mother who provided, but was emotionally unavailable or dismissive. Being taught that needing help was weak. Being in survival so long that the idea of letting someone show up for you feels ridiculous or unsafe. So what happens? You either stay hyper independent and push men away, or attach to emotionally unavailable men because that's what you're used to, because that's the wound you recognize. And when you're sexually attracted to a man who's unavailable, girl, that is not chemistry. That's your trauma talking, and you better run. Anytime you're attracted to someone too fast before getting to know them, before they really show up, you should go the opposite way. Healthy need comes after you heal these wounds. It looks like being comfortable in your own company, feeling whole, but understanding that masculine support can enhance your life. Allowing space for a man to come in and add to you, not complete you. Now, I can already hear the angry Bettys in the background. Calm down, girl. You have to have boundaries, and we're going to get into that later. But I just want to let you know You don't have to tolerate what men do. I'm not telling you to tolerate. I'm just saying you might be getting some guys that you may call bums because there's no room for him to expand, grow, or show up in his masculine energy. You're not chasing, you're not begging, but you are open. You allow him to show up in action for you. When you think about men, do you lean more towards, I don't need anyone, or I need someone to save me? Where did you learn that? Number 2 is patience. You cannot hold a healthy feminine frequency if your nervous system is always in fight or flight. Patience is emotional regulation. It's self-control, and it's how you hold your energy. Healthy men feel safe around healthy women. Let me say that again. Healthy men feel safe around healthy women. Healthy men do not tolerate crash outs. Healthy men do not tolerate chaos. It's not cute. And I just want to say that healthy men won't put you in a situation where you're going to crash out. If your energy is chaotic, crash out, or reactive, the man you attract will match that frequency. And like I said before, a man that's in his healthy masculine most likely won't be able to stay that long if that's the frequency. So what does patience look like? Being okay when there's a pause in a conversation, whether that via in person or through text. Not spiraling if he doesn't text back in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. Staying grounded instead of going into, I'm going to curse him out or block him, unblock, stalk his page type of energy. And it also shows up in body language. If you're walking up to his car, and hopefully he has one, do you rush to grab the door handle and yank it open, then throw yourself in? Or do you walk to your side with a quiet understanding that any man that you deal with will open the door for you? Now, this is an entitlement. This is a standard, an inner knowing. When you're consistent about these small things, these things that you may not think is a big deal, or you might think it's old-fashioned, or they're just simply ridiculous because you want to be a feminist, I just want to let you know, you're training yourself just as much as you're training him. You're training yourself to receive. You're saying to your nervous system, I'm a woman who is approached. I'm a woman who's considered. I'm a woman who's cared for. A man who's capable of masculine leadership will feel that and rise to it. A man who isn't will either feel burdened by basic consideration or show you that he expects a mother and not a partner. And I know you don't want to be out here auditioning for the role of his mother. When things slow down, texts, plans, conversations, do you feel panic, anger, or peace? What does that say about your emotional regulation right now? Number 3 is one of my favorites. Be delicate. And I know you're probably like, oh my God, are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Be delicate. Dress delicate. Look delicate. Do your hair delicate. Make sure your nails are delicate. Be delicate. And delicate doesn't mean weak. It definitely doesn't mean stupid. And it doesn't mean that you can't do anything on your own. Delicate means you honor your own energy and stop overexerting in situations where masculine support would make more sense. I have a quick story time, so let me tell you what I mean. There was a day I was at the gas station and I was using self-checkout. I put my phone down in a really weird spot and it slipped right into this little slit between the kiosk and the main register. You know that mini heart attack that you feel when your whole life is in your phone? Yeah, I gasped. I felt a little drop in my stomach. And I instantly knew I cannot move this machine by myself, if anybody can move it at all. Without taking a moment to think, I started looking for help. There was a young lady behind the register. I told her what happened. She came over and tried to see what she could do. She was kind and was really trying to help, but she was limited also. A man who was about to pay noticed what was going on and asked me what was happening. I calmly said, my phone slipped down here and I can't get it out. He immediately jumped into action. Then another man saw what was happening and he jumped in too. I didn't cry, I didn't get irate, I didn't scream or turn into an angry customer from hell. I stayed soft. I was clearly in need, but I wasn't panicked or mean. I allowed them to help. They were moving things all on the floor, reaching for things, problem solving. And when they finally got my phone out, they were happy, high-fiving, giving each other props. They felt like they really accomplished something. That was their reward. There was no, so can I get your number? No weird energy, no expectations around sex, Just two men feeling good about showing up for a woman that allowed herself to be helped. Now, technically, if I really wanted to, I probably could have figured it out myself, but it would have required moving heavy things, possibly injuring myself, maybe breaking a nail, let's just be for real, I care about that, and throwing off my energy for the whole day. The wisdom of femininity is, I'm capable, but I'm not going to spend my energy where a man can easily spend his strength. I stay pleasant, soft-spoken, and patient. Their masculine energy rose to meet that. That's what I mean when I say delicate. When you really think about it, when you first get your hair done, or your nails done, or you're wearing a really pretty flowy dress, or maybe you have on heels, even if they're kitten heels, you don't overexert yourself. You're not going to jump to the rescue like Superwoman or Superman. You're going to allow someone to come in and assist you with the things that you need assisting with. It doesn't even look right for a feminine woman to be down trying to figure something like that out. It makes more sense for a man that's willing to rise to the cause to do that and then get that energy and that rise of being successful in helping a woman that needed the assistance. You're allowed to preserve your softness. You're allowed to receive help. You're allowed to say, I don't want to do that. I'd rather remain in this energy and allow masculine energy to step in. Now that happened with strangers, but this works with kids as well. If you guys are new here, I have a son. He's a teenager now. Yay, me. And recently, I went to my building's office and I saw that I had a really big box that was fairly heavy. And the lady that worked the office said, oh, it's kind of heavy. I don't know if you can carry that. And then she looked at me and she was like, oh, well, you work out, you can carry that. I was like, how you know I work out, girl? But yeah, I could carry that. I just don't feel like it. Because in my mind, I was thinking about the snow, the cold, the fact that my son was about to get out of school probably in like 30 minutes. I want to be in an energy with him when he gets home where I'm happy. I want to be in an energy where I'm soft, where I can be happy to see his face, where I'm greeting him with a smile and not agitated because I'm carrying this huge box in the snow, in the cold, and I'm disgruntled, especially when I have a cute little cream outfit on. I definitely don't want to do that, and I don't have to do that. So I looked at her and I told her, you know what, I'm just going to have my son come over and pick it up because I just don't feel like it. She laughed, but that's true. I know how to manage my energy. I know how to show up and stay in my feminine energy. I know the things that will irritate me, agitate me, and that will bleed and spill into the relations that I have around the people around me. And this is the reason why it's important for you to understand that for yourself versus barking at a man and telling him, you need to show up for me so that I can be soft. Allow him to see what that looks like when you're flustered. Allow him to see what it looks like when you're at ease and when he's the reason why you're at ease. You should start happy and he should make you happier. Because there's a benefit that men get from making a woman happier and being successful in that. But a lot of people don't understand that because the dynamic is so messed up. Where in your life do you automatically say, I'll do it, when you could allow support to come in instead? I don't know how many times I have to say this to you guys, but this is really important. They're all really important, but this one is the most important one, I think. I have to remember what number 5 is, but discernment. Number 4, knowing who to give an audience to. You know the saying, pay attention? You pay for the attention that you give. So you have to be aware of the attention that you give. You have to be aware of the audience that you allow in your presence. This is not to hide. It's not to avoid. It's not to keep you from losing your cool. You should be able to manage yourself and your emotions already. This is about value, you knowing your worth and your value. Every man should not have access to your time, your softness, your story, or your energy. A lot of women are trying to be feminine with men who haven't even shown basic good character. Femininity is not community property. It's sacred. Men who truly lead with action, not just talk. They're not pressuring you, bombarding your phone, or trying to bulldoze their way into your life. And because your discernment is off, if a man is not applying pressure, you think he's boring, he's lame, he's not into women, he wants you to chase. That's not necessarily always the case. Your energy and how you show up also has something to do with it as well. But listen, when you're healed, you understand that a man is not going to rush to be close to you, rush to get emotionally close to you or physically close to you. When men are interested in women, they are terrified, not because you can beat them up. They're terrified that they might do something stupid and muck it up, because typically that's what a lot of men do. I have a teenage boy. Trust me, I know. Oftentimes they make mistakes, so they want to do their best to not mess up this opportunity of something that looks like it can be real, everlasting, long-lasting, for something that's real. They wait for an opening, an invitation, and then they show up with consistency. Women are complaining that men are looking for an invitation, and I'm talking about adult men, grown men, not people that are out here still playing or dating and don't really know what they want. They're still a little emotionally immature. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about men that go after what they want. They understand what they need in their life. Okay? Those men don't give R-word energy. Okay? So they're going to wait for you to give a signal before they come into your space. Because guess what? That's respectful. A lot of times women on the internet are sending mixed signals. They want men to just approach them. They want men to come over and talk to them and spit that game to them. You want something that is not true divine masculine energy, and it's time to be very honest with yourself about that. Now I'm calling you out because you are part of your own problem if that's what you want. And you have to go within and figure out why you actually want that and why you think that is respect. And that leads me to my next point. You have to know what you actually want and what you don't want. And that usually comes with experience. Think about the men that you like, that you want to apply pressure, and look at the experience that you had with those individuals. Date to learn, not to find your husband in every single connection or conversation. Talk, flirt, observe. Notice how you feel around different types of men. Notice what energy drains you, which energy nurtures you, which energy stresses your nervous system out. The other thing that's very important, there are different stages of relationship. So a man may be good in the first stage of maybe talking, communicating, maybe you all make things official, and he can be completely different when you all decide to move in together. Extremely different when you all decide to get engaged. Another level of different when you all get married, and completely different when you decide to have children. So this is something that you have to take your time with and be honest. If you know you don't want a man with kids, why are you letting your heart crack open for a man that has them? If you know you want a man that's going to value your softness, why are you entertaining men that brag about not needing anyone and not caring about anything? When you go through the ebbs and flows of creating boundaries, when you go through the healing process of discovering yourself, when you start to become balanced within oneself and your discernment is top tier, okay? When you know you're not being delusional about what you want and how you want it. When you're being somewhat realistic, but also allowing the divine to come in and assist you on this path and journey. You don't waver on your non-negotiables. If you're not serious about what you want in your life, why would anybody else owe you that? This doesn't mean to dismiss and block any and every man that comes into your aura. You can receive from anyone a ride, a favor, a moment of help. That doesn't automatically mean that they belong in your world. Just because they do one thing or they do another thing, or maybe they do something that no one ever has, it doesn't mean that that's your person. It doesn't mean that you lock in and you become anxiously attached to them. It just means you go with the flow, you examine and observe what's happening, you realize what you like, you write that down on the good side of the piece of paper, okay? You write the good qualities of the men that you've dated and the men that you're currently dating on one side, and on the other side, you write the things that you don't like. You don't harbor on that side too long. You focus on the side that you actually like. And sometimes you're going to have to date different people in order to know what you like, what you value. And another aspect that's going to help you, I'm giving you bonus information right now, okay? Come closer. It's easier to think about who you are and what roles you'll play in life in hypothetical situations. If you become a mother, if you become a woman that has to work and something happens to your husband or whatever, think about what type of support you would need in order to continue to be this beautiful being that you are. But you also have to be a beautiful being from the start. You have to be able to manage and regulate yourself if you want someone that's going to reciprocate that as well. I'm not saying that we're all perfect, but overall, you should be able to manage your anger, manage your frustration, give patience. Patience is the most important quality I've ever had to have in any relationship, and I didn't realize that until my last one. The last thing you want to do is stay with a man that you already know isn't enough for the life that you want, and then constantly try to level him up with lectures and nagging, because that's what it's going to turn into. That's frustrating and heavy on him, and that's going to be frustrating and heavy on you. And that's where resentment breeds. I'm not saying this to demean this man or demean you and your choices. I'm being honest. When people tell you to settle, you have to know whether you're going to be a monster settling or whether you're going to be able to thrive and settle. Because if he can't make you happier, then you're alone. He can't be the emperor to your empress. And I mean that in the most grounded, non-delusional way. Am I letting men into my space that conflict with my non-negotiables and then calling it being open-minded? Number 5, purity. I know that word is loaded, but I'm going to reclaim it. When I say purity, I don't mean naive, untouched, or perfect. I mean a certain lightness in your energy that comes after you've gone through your darkest and done the work. Think about kids. They have a natural glow and glee. I'm not telling you to act like a kid. I'm saying your spirit can still hold that light. Even as a grown woman who's been through pain, when you've been hurt by men and never processed it, you start to treat every man like he's the enemy. Your shoulders get tight, your tone hardens, your face closes, your energy tells him you're dangerous, you're guilty until proven innocent. And again, girl, I get it. I understand. Trust me. But honestly, that energy doesn't just block bad men. It blocks your magnetism as well. And that's straight up, period. Having that anger in your heart is like drinking poison and hoping that person dies. It just doesn't work that way. You have to heal your inner being. You have to become one with balance. Purity comes from knowing your darkness, owning it, and not letting it run the show. We're not shoving it down in a place where we never have to look at it again. We're not performing to be okay when we're not really okay. We are showing up in a more healed version of self through accepting who we've been, accepting who we were, loving her, giving her compassion, because when you do that for yourself, it naturally expands for everyone else. And because you went through that darkness, you know you can be vicious if you need to. You know you can defend yourself. You know exactly what you would do if something fell off. That groundedness lets you be soft by choice, not out of ignorance. Once you actually do the inner work, process the betrayal, transmute the anger, rewrite the beliefs that you've been manifesting from, you will start to have a different experience. Trust me, I know you'll get more compliments, more respect, more help, more ease. All of those things will reinforce your new reality. And because you know how long it took to get here, you'll naturally protect that light. You become very intentional about who gets to be close to you. When you don't heal, you stay covered in scars and battle wounds. And there's nothing of value to protect there. Think about it. If you mess up your favorite shoes and they're all beat up, you're not going to start protecting them all of a sudden. They're too far gone. You're going to treat them any type of way. Now they're your kick around shoes. Now they're your play shoes. Now they're your workout shoes. But they used to be your favorite shoes when they were clean, when they were dainty, when they were pristine. That's when you become bitter, abrasive, and internally on guard. For everyone that thinks it's cute to be dark feminine and to do these men how they do you and to continue to go down and toil into this dark pit, just know when you actually do the healing, you protect yourself better. You love yourself more. You're not willing to destroy yourself and go to hell in order to make sure that somebody else gets there too. When you heal, you realize this piece cost me too much. I refuse to hand it to anybody. That's purity. If you look at your own energy from the outside, does it feel heavy and guarded or light, grounded, and discerning? I think we've been doing great. So let's go ahead and wrap this up into some clear, easy do's and don'ts. Don't weaponize your expectations. Your standards are for you to hold, not tools to punish men, even though I kind of get it. Don't be his helicopter parent. You are not his warden. You are not his probation officer. You are not his mother. And trust me, you don't want to be. Don't wear femininity like a costume while still harboring hate in your heart. That contradiction will absolutely show. Do set the bar and allow the man to reveal himself. Stay relaxed, aware, and ready to quietly exit. No need to get mad about anything. You get more mad when you allow yourself to waste time than you do figuring something out quicker and walking away before you really invest. Not waiting on someone to make it clear to you. You can make it clear for yourself. Do trust enough that you know you'll move accordingly instead of screaming, begging, or trying to teach him how to value you. I know it's more popular for the women on the internet to tell you, F him, girl. Get what you can and move on. I know, because a lot of people are feeding that type of content. But I promise you, as easy as I can get on here and do the same thing, I can get on here and tell you all the things that I've done and all the things that I've gotten and all the bad things that's ever happened for engagement so that I can stay relevant or feel validated by my likes and views on the algorithm, whatever. But I'm not going to do that because I care about you a lot more than some of you care about yourself, to be honest. So I'm going to burst that bubble. If you deeply hate men, there's some part of yourself that you hate too. There's some part of God that you hate as well, because God is in everything and everyone, even in the forms that hurt and disappoint us. If you have hate in your heart, then your heart is already tainted. You think you need to be angry so people won't play with you, but the deepest respect that people will have for you is when you move accordingly, not loudly. The worst thing that you can do to someone is to truly remove them from your energy and never look back. No show, no performance, just absence. That's the real power move. And if you know, you become the Phantom X, okay? So those are 5 ways that you can use your feminine energy to get a man back into his masculine energy. Let's go ahead and quickly recap. Need him, but don't be needy. Build patience and emotional regulation. Be delicate and receptive to help. Use discernment about who gets access. Cultivate purity, lightness after you've faced your darkness. If you're listening to this like, okay, Ra, I hear you, but I don't know how to regulate my emotions. I don't know how to stop choosing unavailable men. I don't know how to forgive and still be soft. That's exactly why I created my ebook. I go into deeper healing work, nervous system regulation, and practical scripts and examples so you can practice this in real life, not just in your head. I'll leave the link below. If this conversation hits something in you, I want you to take one of the reflection questions that I asked and actually journal on it today. Don't just consume and scroll. Do the work, babes. And if you want more conversations like this, please leave me a comment down below. This is how we even got this video in the first place. I would have never known to make it. So anything around femininity, healing, and high-level self-worth, be sure to drop that comment down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps me get momentum on this page so that I can continue to show up for you guys. And make sure you share it with a friend who needs it, because they probably popped up. You probably thought about them. Hopefully they make it to this part so I can say, hey friend, welcome girl. Because you know, if they have crash out energy, we need to get them back on that divine feminine vibe. I love y'all. That's my time. Take care of your spirit and watch how the right masculine energy shows up for you. I'll see you next time. Peace, love, and a little bit of spice. Mwah.